Yeah, so David, love being here, just able to take time away to talk founder to founder about what's going on in life.
Yeah,
and
it's rare.
It is super rare trying to get time away to just do that with family and work and everything else. But I know that time away, that's kind of like what the offline focus is on.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that in a minute, but first I was just curious, how's the new kid? I know it's not really that new to your family's life, but as a parent, I know things flash fast. But
yeah, her first birthday is in basically a week.
Okay.
We probably have 10 total pictures of her.
It's been a year?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it was like yesterday we were sitting down talking about it.
Half my phone is pictures of Jackson, and then like 20% is pictures of Claire, and then there's like 5 of Corey. It's like the forgotten child.
That'll probably be how our third is as well, with the third on the way too.
Yeah, you try to fight it. There's just not time.
Yeah, maybe I'll just get the camera to the older one. And
delegate. She's great. Family's great. We're out of that like not sleeping phase, so everything gets better after that.
How's that? How do you balance that? Like, do you have any tips and tricks as like a person who start running a company, and how you spend time and protect that family time with the kids and the wife?
Yeah. All right, I'll give you 3. One is like weekends are sacred.
Okay.
Never.
So no work on weekends at all?
Very rare.
Okay.
Very rare. The second one is this thing I found out about a couple months ago called a kitchen safe.
Okay.
So you're supposed to be like for like household items in the kitchen, but it's basically like a little box with a timer on it, and you put your phone in it, and you twist the dial, and you press the button, and it locks your phone in.
Okay.
And you can set it to 5 days. You can set it to 5 minutes. But I basically lock it in from 5:30 to 7:30.
That's really cool. What if an emergency happens? Do you like
hatch it? Just break it open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just keep a hammer nearby.
Yeah. It's plastic. It's a plastic box.
Okay, cool.
That's always what people say. They're like, "What are you gonna do if something happens?" I'm like, "I'll just break the box. Like, it's okay."
Grab your wife's phone.
Yeah. My laptop can text. But yeah, so weekends, kitchen safe, and then one day at a time. Like, you just can't get too hung up on, like, this day was bad, or this bedtime was crazy, or I didn't sleep last night. It's like you just have to kind of shrink your time horizon down and just get through it one day at a time. It's ultimately like, I'm so glad that I got that part of my life started and I didn't wait.
Yeah.
I think it's a temptation a lot of founders have, is just like push that part of their life out. And there's an opportunity cost to that. And I'm glad that we didn't do that.
Do your kids watch what you're building? Like, do they understand it yet?
I've had Jackson try to do some stuff in HubSpot. He's 5.
Nice.
I'm like, orange button press. Hopefully. Like,
That's cool.
I really, I didn't think too much about this when I was starting offline, but now that I have kids, like, I want that to be part of the dinner table conversation, like, as they're growing up. And, I'd love to create something that they can work on one day. I think that'd be so fun.
That's really cool. Yeah, I know, like, my son who's 9, his passion is trampoline parks. So he told me, "Dad, I want to build a trampoline park in Holly Springs." And I was like, "Okay, well, you got to write a business plan to figure out."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What's a business plan?" I was like, "Well, just a story of what it's going to look like."
Right.
And so, he started crafting what it would look like if people came. And I was like, "So how are you going to fund it?" And he's like, "Well, my neighbor Avery, she's got $600." So I started talking about crowdfunding one. But in all seriousness, I took him on my last trip. I do all these like rounds with different founders that we work with, and one was to Western North Carolina. So he got to meet like 4 or 5 different founders that we work with, and just kind of trying to see where his little mind
where does he line
sits,
up?
like what's his passion. That's my passion as a father, is just trying to figure out how I can leverage the entrepreneurial community that we're working with, to instill that kind of entrepreneurial spirit in him.
Do you think he'll go to college?
I don't know. I think he will, because he's got that mindset. My daughter,
he's 9 more years though before he's of age, and like, I wonder.
I do too. I mean, I wonder if there's like this new college path too for kids, where maybe their college is just working with startups. Could be kind of cool.
Yeah, or horrible. Like, who knows?
Or terrible. Yeah.
Workaholic at 12.
Might be. Well, maybe they'll be like, we spend too much time on work, so now we need to get away, and they actually bring the fun to it. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's great. Well, tell me more about Offline. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been watching what you guys been doing. Let's see, you launched in Raleigh first, right?
Yeah.
Then Durham.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like this sleepy giant, and all of a sudden you launch in Charlotte, and day one, you guys were profitable.
Mm-hmm.
You pretty much paid back all the launch costs, and you've got this community of what, like 100,000 people that joined over the last 6 months just for Charlotte.
Yeah, so Charlotte's been amazing for us. We've got over 100,000 followers on social media. We launched those accounts in January, February, so 6 months, 100,000 followers. And then for us, we generate revenue through consumer subscriptions. So we had over 1,000 people sign up day one, and then we're close to 2,000 paying subscribers now. Charlotte's been great. It's a great city. It's a lot of young people, a lot of people that have the problem that we solve. They want to go out and explore Charlotte. They don't really know where to start. They don't really want to think about it. It's been good. The sleeping giant thing is interesting because I do feel like we've been in like a bunker, just kind of tinkering and perfecting the product, and then it's like when you just get that thing right and the market conditions change, all of a sudden it looks exponential. So it's been a wild ride. Charlotte's a good city for us. We like the Raleighs, the Charlottes, the Nashvilles, the Charleston, Tampa Bay, like these kind of mid-sized cities in the Southeast we just think are going to be incredible for us.
That's awesome. It's it's always fascinated me. Like when I first signed up for Offline, it seemed like you had this intentional focus around community from the beginning is what I'm coming across.
Yeah.
Like what kind of drove that and instilled that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So people are like, once they get the product, they're like, why do you have a restaurant club called Offline? Like what's with the name? And so
exactly.
It's a nice opportunity to kind of go back to the roots. The roots were human connection. It was just this idea that 100 years ago there's no screens, like not a single screen, and now we spend 70% maybe of our day.
Yeah.
Phone, tablet, laptop, TV. So it's just been this like really fast shift in the course of human history, going from this to this, and so the genesis of the business was really about that. It's about human connection, and then we kind of found our way from human connection to food, because food has just always brought people together. It's always been a conduit for connection. And I think what you're referring to is that like why has always permeated everything we've done, even though the what has changed.
That's cool. When did you know you wanted to build Offline? Like what was the start for that in your...
I don't know, man. I think about this a lot, and I think I always knew I wanted to do something that was just not the norm. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know what it was. I felt like I had all this like pent up like passion and energy that just was looking for an outlet. And it really was when I came across, there was a graph in an article in the New York Times back in 2011, and it was just showing the amount of screen time the average person has starting in 1945, 1950, rolling forward. And I think the reason the article had come out is that it just crossed like 50% of your waking life. And it was just something about that graph. It really like, it got in there and I couldn't get it out. And I think that's when I knew, like, I don't know exactly what the product is. I don't know exactly what the business model is going to be, but I know I want to like spend some time working on that, because I think that's one of the biggest problems we have as a society is like we're more connected, but there's this undercurrent of like loneliness and disconnection that I think everybody's aware of.
Tell people, how does Offline work?
Yeah. Okay, so Offline is a restaurant club, and we're just trying to rethink the way that people discover new restaurants. So the elevator pitch is, we all know there's all this stuff happening, opening up in Raleigh and Durham and Charlotte. Everybody wants to go try more new restaurants in their city.
Yep.
What actually happens is people kind of like thumb through their feed and they see all that stuff, but then they just go back to the same 5 places, or they get takeout, or they can't convince their friends to go, or whatever. For a million reasons, we end up doing the same things over and over again. So the way that we break out of that is we say, hey, Will, give us $12.99 a month. Tell us what you're into. We're gonna match you with 2 restaurants to try every month, like a blind date. Like you don't know what you're gonna be matched with. You're gonna get this email from us. It's gonna have these 2 restaurants in it. We're gonna give you between $10 and $25 to spend at each restaurant and 30 days to go. So if you don't go, you wasted your $12.99 and you never get matched with those restaurants again. It's a really simple business, but the magic is like, we're motivating people,
Yeah.
right? We're focusing them in on like 1 or 2 things to try, and then we're giving them that like sense of urgency as to why they need to go, right? That's the basic gist of it. One of the things that we noticed early on though is that people don't go out to eat alone. They go out to eat with their friends. So there's also a social component to the product where you can link your subscription with your spouse or your friend group or whatever, and you can all get matched with the same restaurants every month.
That's cool.
And then, like for me, I got 2 buddies I went to college with that still live in the area. I know I'm going to see them every month because we're going to go to a new restaurant together. So there's a social layer to it too that makes it really, really fun.
With offline, it sounds pretty cool because this gives me a way that I could like reconnect with my buddies.
Yep.
And just give like some intentional time away, even with them or with my wife for like date night.
Yeah, it's like dad escape. It's like perfect.
Dad escape.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. So everybody needs a dad escape.
It's like,
or a
sorry,
mom
honey,
escape.
I don't want to waste our $12.99. I need to go to this restaurant.
We good. Go individual or together. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I just got my my inbox the other day for a restaurant that I really wanted to hit up. So I'm looking forward to going to it here pretty soon this month.
Heck yeah.
So
don't forget.
That's good. I'll try not to. I got to set a reminder on my phone.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think it was Anna and Laura gave me a tip the other day. She's like, I set my phone for the first of the month. I tell all my buddies, day 1, that's when we're going out to eat.
Yeah,
so.
you got to make those plans early.
Yep. Well, I wanted to ask too, like, one part that, as we were talking more, that was really unique was your team's grown quite a bit too.
Yeah.
And the majority of the team, or if not all of the team, were customers offline.
Yeah.
Were they all
it's like
customers?
7 out
before?
of 12, I think.
That's incredible.
Were either paying subscribers or like avid followers of our social account. But they just really loved what we were all about, how we were going about it. And as soon as we would open up a job description, the first people that we would send it to were subscribers and social media followers. And we've been able to fill most of our roles that way. It's been great. It's really good for company culture. It's really good for having that like customer-centric focus because you've been a customer.
Yeah.
You know?
Was that part of the premise for doing a community round where like all of your customers, anybody that loves the feature, what offline is participating could invest right alongside the other investors in this ecosystem? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just noticed that there's so much energy in our customer base. Like, they love the product. They want to work at the company. They're already paying a subscription fee every month. Like, every single dollar and cent that flows into our bank account is already coming from our, these customers. And so, we've been talking about this for years. Like, I've always thought the idea of crowdfunding is so interesting. It's a captivating idea that you can have 7,000 paying subscribers that can now become shareholders. And then when you look at the way that offline is growing, a lot of it is referral and word of mouth. A lot of the way that Charlotte was successful was from people in Raleigh telling people in Charlotte. Like, how much faster would all of that go if everybody had a piece of the company?
Yeah.
So we're thrilled. We can't wait to do this. We think it's going to just blow the doors off.
I'm sure a lot of people are excited. What's kind of like the growth path for offline? Like, can you let us in on any cities you're planning on launching to, or will you direct more to the community to kind of tell you where to go?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, just generally when I think about growth path, I have to always remind myself, we want to be the entire U.S. So Raleigh-Durham and Charlotte is like 1% of our market share if we're successful. The way we get there is, it's like checkers. It's just jumping from city to city. And so we're looking, regionally at the Southeast. There's a lot of different markets that we like in the Southeast, and we're definitely going to be getting input from our investors and our subscribers. Like, where do you know people, right? If there's patterns, in these friend networks, how much faster can we accelerate in a new market?
That'd be really fun to see if the community suggests a market and see how that performs against the path it had been on where you guys were picking markets.
That's right.
That'd be a fun plan to roll out.
Yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to about crowdfunding, is just involving all of these new investors in the strategy and the journey, in the decision-making process. I think that's going to be really, really cool.
So is the strategy just basically like, if you like to eat, if you like to drink, if you like to do that with friends, well, you might continue to do that, have an offline subscription, but also invest and tell other buddies? Is that pretty much?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Bring us to the table.
Seems like a simple growth path.
Yeah, you're already spending $200 on a Friday night, going out to dinner, drinks, Uber ride to and from, late night, Uber order. You know, you might as well just shift a little bit of that into a crowdfunding round.
So, I know we're here in Raleigh today.
Yeah.
What's it like growing a company, a tech company out of Raleigh, but also the Southeast in general, with all the shift of everybody moving here? What's that feel like?
I love it.
Okay.
So one thing from a founder perspective is that you can, you're 1 degree away from everybody. There's a very approachable network here. So if you want to meet with an investor, if you want to meet with another founder, you're going to be 1 degree separated. I love that. And then, like if everybody's moving here, why should I go somewhere else? It feels like we're on that curve that's going up and to the right, and that the rising tide floats all boats. And so it's a really exciting time to be in the Southeast.
That's really cool. Do you think your team will be more geographically dispersed over time, even though it's based out of the Southeast?
It's going to be hub and spokes. We'll have a corporate team, and then we'll have pods. Like we have a team of 3 in Charlotte. I have a team of 3 in the next market. So we'll eventually fall in love with everywhere else, but we love the Southeast right now.
No, that's great. That's great. So I know we didn't talk about this yet, but compared to other models that are out there for restaurants, because obviously the restaurant is discounting their services, right? Mm-hmm. But from what I know, you tip on the original amount as part of the ethos.
Yeah.
How is offline performing for restaurants? Like, how are they doing with it? Why do they come back?
So I think the most powerful example here is that during COVID, restaurants were struggling the most. We grew from 20 restaurant partners to over 70 restaurant partners. And that's just in Raleigh-Durham.
Like during COVID?
During COVID.
Wow.
That was a time when restaurants were getting rid of anything that was not working, causing them stress, too complicated, unprofitable, and we were actually increasing our market share. When I started offline, I really tried to study what happened with Groupon.
Okay.
How it went from being the fastest growing tech company of all time to almost every single restaurant owner thinking of it as like a 4-letter word. And it was really important to me that we built a business model that actually worked for the customer and for the restaurant. For us, shifting the monetization to the subscriber, charging the subscriber, means that we actually don't charge restaurants anything. No money changes hands between us and the restaurant. And then we track every single dollar and cent that's spent at the restaurant to guarantee that it's profitable for the restaurant. So we really go out of our way to make sure offline's a net like a measurable dollars and cents net positive for every single restaurant that we work with.
That's really cool. So while the restaurant's not paying anything to offline, like some other platforms would do, they're discounting their service fees a little bit because they're giving offline subscribers a dip down. The community effort of it's not just individuals going to restaurants, it's groups of people in a predictable manner is actually driving restaurant revenue? Or
yeah, think about it this way. If you're a restaurant, it's a Thursday night, you're 2/3 full.
Yeah.
A third of those tables are literally sitting there like no butts and seats. They're empty.
Yeah.
You're already paying for rent. You're already paying for light. You already have people on staff. You already have cooks in the kitchen. If you can fill those tables, it's an incredible boost to your business because you have all the other costs already there. So the way that offline works when you get down to a tactical level is we're trying to take those empty seats and flip those into paying customers that are trying the restaurant for the first time and are just layering in with an existing service that they're already doing. So it really is a powerful model. it's been really exciting to watch the performance with restaurants. Because if it doesn't work for the restaurants, it doesn't work for anybody.
Yeah, no, that's really powerful because as I'm thinking about it, I've got my engineering mind. I'm probably going down a path I shouldn't, but it sounds very much like a pull effort where you've kind of created a platform in a sense, not the tech side, but just a platform where everybody can choose to enter. They can choose to pay a subscription or not.
Yeah.
The restaurant can choose to participate or not. The customer chooses to go or not, but it's like mutually incentivized for people to actually participate in that model and try something new.
Yeah, here's another way to think about it. If you go try a new restaurant, you sit in a table that would have been empty and you bring your wife, you win because you save some money and you go out and try a place you probably haven't been to. The restaurant wins because they took an empty seat and they flipped it to a profitable seat. And we win because you made good on your $12.99 and you're happy you're going to renew and you're going to pay next month. So every time that we actually do the thing that we're supposed to do as a company, it's good for the restaurant, good for the customer, good for us. And like that's what you want as a founder is like all you have to do is drive the core that you already have and it just becomes a flywheel over time.
And I assume for the restaurant partner, the way it's good too is that they're not always going to be on the offline platform, but if they gave a truly awesome experience, those people are probably going to return to when they may have never tried it out before.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
As a customer, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I
absolutely.
think people try new restaurants all the time and don't go back. People try new restaurants all the time and they go back. I don't think having 10 to 20 bucks off here and there actually matters. In the grand scheme of things, it's a pretty small amount of money.
Yeah.
I think people's loyalty comes from hospitality. And so we do try to partner with restaurants that we think, you know, they meet a certain like quality threshold. Like we really try to curate the people that we work with so that we're not sending you to a place that you're destined to never return to.
Yeah, I think that curation is probably the key to success for all this. You're curating not only the subscribers in some way because they're vetting into a process and an ethos that you set up for like tipping on the full amount, but also the restaurants are doing the same.
That's part of studying what happened with Groupon. I mean, they wanted everybody. They wanted every customer. They wanted every restaurant. When you're something for everybody, you're nothing for everybody.
Yeah. Great statement. So when's the time that you feel like offline's really fulfilled its mission, or is it just building the company itself is fulfilling the mission? Like, can you point to any particular time?
Yeah, okay, so we made this really awesome video for the WeFunder campaign.
Okay.
And one of my coworkers was editing it, and she put together this scene where it's like 3 Instagram stories side by side in frame.
Okay.
So 3 different subscribers that had like storied themselves trying a new restaurant, like, you know, biting into a burrito, or like you could see them like laughing with their friends. And then right after that, we say something like, we've been able to track over 150,000 times that our subscribers have gone out and tried a new restaurant in Raleigh-Durham or Charlotte. And then it's like this rapid fire of all these like Instagram screenshots of people that have posted their experience. And it was so cool to not just see that stat in like a spreadsheet in a company meeting, but to actually like see all these different types of people in all these different cities smiling, laughing, eating, like doing exactly what we set out to do when we called the company offline, when we, you know, built the subscription. And it was like a really good reminder for me that like we're doing something that's actually good for the world with this business.
People need that laughter and that getting out after COVID. So I can't even imagine what it's going to look like.
I actually think the more that people work at home, like the more they want that.
I think so too.
Right?
I'm hearing that more from people now too.
Yeah, when you go to the office, you kind of want to go home and have food delivered because you're just like worn out. But when you're home all day, like,
I want to go out.
I want to go out. Yeah.
Well, last question for you.
Yeah.
So I ask everybody this. We live in like this awesome community where we can pretty much build anything we want to if we really put our minds to it. Yeah. And especially you as a fellow founder has kids.
Yeah.
What is the one company besides offline that you would love to see in our backyard, from coffee shop to apartment complex to space company, you name it? Like if you could build anything else, what would it be in this backyard that you would like to see?
Okay, can I do 2?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. There's this company down in Atlanta called Switchyards.
Okay.
And they've created these, they're literally like 24/7 coffee shop. Like imagine if you took like morning times,
Okay.
and mashed it together with HQ, Raleigh.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
made it like 24/7 access, staffless, like just fob entry. Pay like $50 a month, and you just have this like come and go as you please co-working space with unlimited coffee, and they're putting them in neighborhoods.
Oh,
So
cool.
not just like, you know, downtown in the densest part, but like a 5 Points one, a South Raleigh one, like whatever. And so I think that when you have people working hybrid, that's what I'd love to do. It's like when I'm not at home, when I'm working from home, just like pop into the neighborhood co-working space, see my neighbors, get some work done. So that's one. And then the other one is, so breweries have kind of got this like little special combination that families like, because it's like they're usually open, like your kids can kind of run around. I'd like to see somebody like take what's working there and just like do it not at a brewery, right? Like drop a shipping container into a park, you know, just do something that's for the young families out there that honestly want to have like a glass of rosé in the sun while their kids like play behind a fence.
Yep, I know just a few places where they can do that, but it'd be wonderful to have more of this. You don't have to worry about the kid running to the street or the dog.
Yeah,
or the,
it's like everybody, like that's a bolt on to like lots of places. Like there's a barbecue place with a like little play area, or like there's a brewery with a little play area. I just want like a play area with like a little bar.
It's really cool. So David, if people want to learn more about offline and their opportunity to participate as an investor, where can they go?
So the campaign's hosted on WeFunder.
Okay.
So wefunder.com/offline.
Okay.
Or I'm sure we'll have the link like up or below the video. So definitely go and check that out. I think it's a really, really compelling campaign for people to get involved in. And then if you want to just learn more about offline, just Google offline Raleigh, offline Durham, offline Charlotte. You'll find it first result.
Awesome. Well, David, thanks for syncing up today. This was fun.
Thanks,
Just
Will.
take like an hour together to enjoy learning about life and building companies
Yeah,
together.
man, I need to ask you questions next time.
Well, we could do that.
Thanks, man.